So what are we discussing?
We're gonna go straight into favorite Christmas movies, but we'll start off the show and do it.
I didn't do a list of favorite Christmas, but for a good reason. So I don't have any favorite Christmas movies.
Rob, intro the show first.
But you intro the show.
Welcome to Hour of Sour, episode 3, where we discuss whatever.
It is episode 3, not pilot, and then episode 1 and episode 2. We do it because we love you, Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like an argument with my wife. When my wife is trying to explain something like, and you're just at that point where you're like, I just don't want to. I want to go to bed. I don't want to argue anymore. I kind of
feel that way. WatchingComplain.com.
How can you feel that way down here? That's a feeling only for wives. Where you're like, God, I'm just
every time I'm down here, I feel like I want to escape.
And then you get back to your wife, and then she starts yelling at you. You're throwing out the window.
Can you think of any media where you were? For me, it was Anchorman 2, where it's like I wanted to go see it, and then it's the only time I've ever felt trapped in the theater. I just did not enjoy myself.
Planet of the Apes part 2.
Because
Planet of the Apes remake.
Not part 3 worth for the Planet of the Apes.
I can't say I cared very much for those, but that Planet of the Apes remake by Tim Burton, that was one of the only experiences I've ever watched in a theater. I'm like, I hate this. Yeah. I hate everything about this. I hate all the actors in it. I hate that I love Tim Burton and he's made this piece of shit. It was just, that was one of I think the first time I watched a movie where I was like, I legitimately, and that's when I discovered Roger Ebert's I hated this movie, those books. I really hate this movie. Like, I want to burn it. I want to buy a copy of it and physically burn it. I had a great animosity for it. That was I think the first movie that started that feeling in me.
Bloodwork.
Bloodwork?
Yeah, that's right. You talked about Bloodwork.
You've seen Bloodwork. You've seen Bloodwork.
Bloodwork. I was like, what? That was like 2002, so I would have been 9. I would have been 9 and this is in the Blockbuster era where you could like rent any movie.
I saw it in the theater.
My dad is. Oh, that's awesome. Though.
No, it's not.
Oh, right.
That movie was the shittiest pile of garbage.
I can't think of. Well, you're right. I can't think of any Clint Eastwood movie that was good in the theater.
Look at that excitement that was on your face. What? You've seen it?
With it.
Someone has actually seen in such a crap movie.
But it's like I saw it with kid goggles on. Okay, that was the first movie I ever saw where the good guy was the bad guy, where Jeff Daniels turned out to be the guy who was there all along.
That's why Phil liked it.
That's the.
The double death scene at the end pissed me off.
Oh, right. Doesn't he get shot and then he jumps up?
He's like, fuck off.
Jeff Daniels can play a bad guy pretty well, though. About no one. I never put it together at noon. That's the first time I was 9. Give me a break. But I liked it.
For Diane, our one fan out
there.
Oh,
shit. We have a fan?
That's been watching ever since this second episode. Probably.
Oh, that's the...
No, I don't.
Oh, that's it. God damn it, Phil. You got me all excited that we had a fan.
We don't have those.
Fucker.
Is it your wife or
something? No, she
won't watch it either.
But
How many times have I offered to put it upstairs on the fucking... We have the Google Home. Anybody want to listen to Watch and Complain? No.
No one wants to listen to a podcast.
People listen to podcasts, asshole.
Okay. Those people don't exist.
They are. They're fucking...
They're the authors.
They're people like me waking up going, oh, God, my back hurts. Everything hurts.
We desperately
They're the
fans.
authors re-clicking and getting their own views.
Taking their pictures on Facebook, and they're just kind of looking at the camera like, huh?
Do you remember the movie where it was like he started eating donuts? Do you remember that?
What the fuck? What the hell are you talking about?
Bloodwork.
I've never seen Bloodwork.
I vaguely remember.
I put the video when we talked about it last.
You're assuming that I watch our fucking podcast, and you know I don't. You know I'm only going to listen to them.
I remember us mentioning it once.
I showed it to you in the basement.
Like, so who was eating? This is a scene in the movie.
A scene in the movie where they take a moment to talk in the police headquarters.
Yeah.
And they're eating donuts. It's like a product placement.
Doesn't I mean like you're overestimating the memorability of this movie. I remember the ending.
What's the worst product placement? I think we've discussed before. What's the worst product placement you've ever seen? Or at least a recent memory.
Oh, I don't.
Probably.
For me, it's got to be fucking the Power Rangers movie. That Power Rangers movie was terrible.
Oh, I didn't.
Was it melting gold?
When Rita Repulsa is fucking just sitting going, oh God.
I knew it would be bad.
Holy fuck,
I didn't even watch it.
But I was like, this is like off the fucking rip. That's like, remember in those terrible Ninja Turtles remakes? when Splinter goes, here's the new Domino's pizza. You love the Domino's pizza.
But you don't notice it as a kid.
Those just showed up for 4K, and I'm like, nope.
Your movie has to be a special kind of bad to open to $40 million and still lose money. Like when you open to $40 million, but your movie is expensive and
All right,
it's
Phil.
crap.
So
You're
off the cuff. I don't know if you're prepared or not, but
Nope.
I wonder,
I think you know the answer to that. Philip.
growing up and going through life, what
Never happened.
are your top 10 favorite for you? Not like what people
Are
should
you trying
watch.
to? Are you trying to be like me and be
Yeah.
like I'm an artistic
Animated?
asshole?
I'm in the theater now.
What a dick! You know, I'm gonna be like you, and I'm just gonna sit here and be all huffy.
You know, I have
What
to
are
say,
you-
we all represent like our own movie snob archetypes pretty well.
I'm not talking to Phil.
What are your personal favorite top 10 Christmas movie list
Phil?
chickens?
Or Rob.
I'm not talking to Phil until he apologizes.
What am I apologizing for? I don't remember.
Shouldn't matter. You should. Haven't you ever had that
You
argument?
sound like my wife.
Have you ever had that argument with your wife? What am I apologizing for? If you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. All right, I'm
It's
sorry.
okay.
What are you apologizing for? I don't know. You're not going to fucking tell me.
It's okay, she doesn't want it. She's fine.
But my wife has to hear because we're all down here.
She knows you. She's rolling her eyes.
That's why I told her to fuck off because I'm like, I don't want you to suffer, darling, with the rest of us.
Because you care too much.
Well, one day
He has to be left out of the marriage conversation.
One day Will be sick, or he'll have a video that he has needs to be done. Like
His
he
fillings.
needs to finish.
His filling
he
video.
needs filling.
That's on
Okay.
Friday,
And
actually.
he comes home.
Because
He comes over and he's like, I can't sit down.
I left
and I
my-
stand next to this
I
one.
left my
This dude's
job to do this podcast, guys, and my insurance benefits are ending in like 3 months.
My
So I
teeth
need
hurt,
to do this now.
My throat
I'm
hurts.
deadly
My
serious.
ass hurts. My wrists are really tired.
I think
These
the
chairs
dentist
are
gave me
uncomfortable.
COVID.
Are
I've
dentists
seen-
supposed to put their dicks in your mouths? Is that how it goes?
Filling.
That's what they fill it with. Ah! Oh, shit.
Okay, top 10 favorite movies
Christmas movies.
of all time.
Top 10 favorite Christmas
Can
movies
I give a
of all
shout
time.
out to the worst movie I've ever seen in the theater, which is a Christmas movie?
I've never seen that.
For
Phil
good
probably
reason.
has.
No, I haven't seen.
With Danny DeVito and Matthew Broderick. It is awful. It was a free movie from my dad's work where the union like negotiates every year to go see a movie, and they know I'm
That's
a
what they
movie head.
chose.
They know I'm a movie head. I got
That's why
it
people
makes
hate
you-
unions.
because they need to choose one for groups. The last one that we did
The
before,
Deer Hunter.
the last one we did before COVID, actually, it was they consulted me because they were like, oh well,
He's the
we
medium.
know that Will's
Borat.
kid
Borat.
who's in his 20s and went to university for movies. It's like, what's it gonna be? And then I'm like, I'm like, for everybody, Jumanji 3 or Frozen 2. Granted, I did not know the quality of Frozen 2
Was
at
it?
the time.
Were they supposed to bring the family?
Yeah, the whole family.
Frozen 2's a better one.
Yeah, and I said that. You know what they said to me about Frozen 2, because that was my first choice, was because Frozen, and I rewatched it, is, in my opinion, the best Disney movie. Like, if you rewatch it, writing-wise, it holds up. It's actually the
There's
best
a
Disney animated movie I've
Porn
seen.
actress named Elsa something.
You
and
shut
she,
your mouth.
She
Monster
looks
Inc.
like Elsa.
Anyways,
Thing.
Wally.
after the
Just
Drek
I'd fuck
that
with-
was
I'd fuck with
Deck
Mike.
the
He's got,
Halls,
like,
the
like
worst
that
movie in
You
theaters
got,
that I
like,
have
your
ever
penis
seen.
inside of it. Like
So
the
much
filling.
that doesn't even bear
And I want him to
mentioning.
go, wow, the entire time sticking my dick in.
Might as well.
Eva.
Anyway, it doesn't even bear a clear mention because you guys are
What
talking
is the
over me.
first
Well,
of your top 10
Anyway,
list?
I suggested Frozen 2, and they said, oh, only girls like Frozen. And then I'm like,
Oh, that's
excuse
lame,
me,
yeah.
that's bullshit.
I would've
anyway,
been-
But I'm glad we
Do
chose
you know how many
Jumanji 3
times
because
I
it was a better movie than
masturbated to
Frozen
the
2.
Frozen movie?
Not,
Countless
none.
times.
I hope to God none.
Countless. That little fucking Olaf snowman, I'd stick my dick
You're
through
like,
every part of that
you're
guy.
like on Pornhub looking for
I want
That's
Olaf
how-
the snowman being double teamed.
Olaf porn.
You know, there's not a lot of good Christmas movies.
What is it? What is it? Rule 33, 34.
Yeah.
You could look up anything and it'll have porn for it.
Oh.
Should, yeah.
What if
Should I?
Nazis?
So you have a
Could there be
list,
Nazi porn?
Rob,
There's probably
at
Hitler.
all?
I only have I have favorite Christmas movies that I like, but I only wanted to mention the 4 movies that I watch every single
Did
year.
you say you started like an all-time favorite movies and not Christmas?
Yeah, I started all-time favorite movies,
Awesome.
but
Let's do that one.
How the
no, we're doing Christmas movies. God
Do that
damn it!
another time.
Because I want to talk about my 4 Christmas movies.
Okay, 4. Go. The last
Why do
one.
I have to go first?
Okay.
Also, I do want to point out one thing that I
Because
saw in the mall this weekend. We were shopping for Christmas presents and all that shit, and I saw
Did you see Santa?
puberty and evolution in action, and why it made me so happy was because all this Me Too movement. Let's make sure I'm recording.
The computer just went black and I'm scared.
Yep, it's not recording.
We're paused. It's fine. We're gonna carry on as soon as you press record. What happened?
I don't know.
It
It,
froze?
just froze. Yeah, and stopped. So let me do a new one.
That's Windows
Did it
11.
go away? Is it still
It went.
there?
No, it went away. Yeah, it closed.
Didn't save it all.
Nope.
So we're gonna restart. All right.
Restarting.
That's fine. We didn't do much.
That's good that we can cut everything out. Okay, so
Should we start
welcome
from-
to
We can-
because
we
no,
can- it
fuck.
is.
I keep
We
on
can-
saying because movies.
We can use the audio here and just say, "Hey, we fucked up."
Why don't we just start
Rob
from the
fucked
beginning?
up. Just say Rob fucked up. You can say I did.
it's
It
all
doesn't
still
hurt my
there.
feelings when you blame
It's
it
all
on me.
still
I believe
there.
I'm sweating.
So it's because Phil and I are
sweating?
such
It's not-
sexual
It's not warm in
animals.
here. Oh, it's because you're between us and
Warm bodies.
Yeah, we exude the.
I know how I feel between two
Heat.
women. Also, that's one thing that men have to understand. Men who want to have sex with two women at the same time, you need to understand that it's a lot of work because all the stuff you've seen in porno where they just want to please you, that's not how it is for real. It's a lot of work. Your jaw gets really tired. For me, my jaw gets really, really tired. Now, I'll leave it to your imagination as to why that happens. But it's not all it's cracked up to
Should
be.
I edit this one out?
What's wrong with group sex? There's nothing wrong with group sex. But my point is, this weekend, and it was
Go to this weekend.
it was magical because I saw puberty and evolution in action, and no amount of Me Too and no amount of
I have
cancellation
no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
can argue with evolution. Here's what I mean. I saw these these kids were about I'm gonna say 15 to 16. Okay. There were these two girls that wanted these two boys to notice them. And I was standing outside because Karen was shopping and I was standing outside the store.
You were staring at the girls.
Well, no.
The story has such a
I
fucking
was
bad start.
it was the little area where there's the like little remember like at the mall there's like the little rides that little kids can go on?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was not staring at it, but watching that.
So you were pretending to be the ride.
Exactly.
And you were calling
and I
them
had my
over.
trench coat mafia on. And I was staring at these girls, trying to get them to come over to me. But these two girls wanted these two guys to notice them.
Yeah.
So they're like, what do we do? And girls, as we all know, much smarter than boys. So they're like, I know a way to get them to notice us. Let's go on the little merry-go-round thing. So they put like $1 in, or whatever it costs. And
How old are they?
like 15, 16. So it looks stupid.
okay.
So now you know why I'm looking. I'm looking at these gangly 15-year-old girls trying to get on this little ride meant for 3-year-olds. So it's going
This
around.
is gonna work.
And then the boys, you know it's going to work because you've been a boy, so you know how stupid we are.
Anything would work.
Then you look at these two boys, and these two boys are like just staring at these girls because you're a boy. You're just like, oh my God, a girl. But then they become self-conscious and know they're looking at the girl, so they're like, oh my God, what don't look at it. Look at them, but don't look at them. Pretend not to look at them. Oh my God, what do we do? Put $1 in one of the machines, but I don't want to ride it. Just shut up. Just put some money. And then they're starting to panic because they know that people are looking at them, and then they know the girls know that they're looking at them. So the boys go over to put $1 into the machine, a different machine, but they're not going to ride it because they don't want to look stupid. So they put $1 into this little car, this old race car, and the race car starts moving with these two boys standing beside it, pretending that they're looking at it while the girls are still going around on this one, and then their ride stops, so they get off it and leave, and the boys are like, do we just leave this car or do we let it keep on going? And they're looking at each other like, oh my God, what do we-" It was amazing. I watched all of that play out, and I was like, you
That
can
should
Me
be-
Too
that
and
should be in a
cancel and all
movie.
sorts of shit, but you cannot ever change the fact that little heterosexual girls want little heterosexual boys to look at them, and little heterosexual boys are going to want to look at little heterosexual girls, but they're too stupid to know what should we do. We don't want to look. We don't want to.
yeah.
It was.
You should have
It
helped
was
them out.
It was beautiful
went-
to watch it all play out.
Rob's not allowed to
Wow.
approach children.
While my 12-year-old son is talking to me about Mario EXE and Luigi EXE and all, I don't know what that means, but it was great. I was like, I love, because it took me back to being that young and that stupid, and being as stupid as I was around girls. I loved it. I got to admit, I loved
Made you
watching that fucking.
nostalgic.
It did. I was like, oh man, I remember 1,000 years ago when I was 15.
Meanwhile, I spent my weekend trying to find advent calendars.
For who?
For me, like my family.
What in
actually, as
particular
well.
were you looking for?
What?
What in particular were you looking
Any
for?
advent calendar.
So like chocolate or Lego or
chocolate
Like
advent.
the
I've
cheap
never tried to
ones or
like the
like
Lego.
the expensive
Whichever
ones?
I would pay for expensive ones. I've done ones
What's
before.
the place downtown that cooks or something?
Fine Foods.
Yeah.
Minotaur?
I got one for the wife one year and she loved it. It was like a dark chocolate one, and it's a little more costly, but
Isn't there's like a Laura Secord place at the Cat Center?
Oh yeah, all
that
these
place?
places. So I made the mistake of, well, it's not a mistake. I had my father tag along, and like as soon as you get your dad to tag along somewhere,
What a coincidence! My father says I'm a mistake that tagged along,
he's right.
and you're
but I'm the mean one. I'm sorry, you were saying.
no, I enjoyed the diversion.
Don't interrupt him, Phil.
Advent
I'm gonna have more of these
calendar.
Bieber balls.
Yeah.
What did you end up doing with your dad?
We went to look for
Leave it
advent, we went to look for advent calendars, and then I wanted to go to Costco, and he was like, "Oh, I don't want to go to Costco." I had to beg him to go to Costco.
Costco's a good one, yeah.
And it turned out that they didn't have them. And
Really?
the place, my dad was right. The place that my dad suggested was
Shoppers.
Metro in Collins Bay had them. They were 75
Shoppers
cents.
would too.
So I got them for everybody. Although my dad doesn't want them because I guess they're one thing he can avoid with his heart
Diabetes.
stuff. Yeah.
But if
he
you
doesn't
want- if you
have
want the cheap
diabetes. My
ones.
grandmother has
I'm going to have
diabetes.
diabetes soon.
I
'cause
was
these
thinking
Bieber
about
balls.
this. I'm like, we did not need 50 for the three of us. We're going to be auctioning this off actually.
Yeah, to
Phil
to
will lick
The
homeless.
Phil will
Diabetes
lick them.
Foundation.
Phil will lick a couple, and they can have you can have a Phil licked one, or a Will licked one, or a Bill licked one.
You have to figure out which ones I licked by
Anyway.
licking them again.
I thought, but if we had gone to Metro and they weren't there, my dad would have just driven us home. Like and they weren't
You
there.
just
Me-
would have been frustrated, like, fuck this.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck. Why do I hang out with my dad at all? And I do because I love him. But
I
he was
saw my
right.
dad this
Yeah.
weekend because I love my dad.
My dad's in Ottawa.
I would.
Fuck him.
I drove to Brampton
Ottawa.
to see my fucking dad.
I was afraid.
And
that,
I gave him a tablet. So my dad's not good with technology, right?
like,
Oh,
any.
yeah.
Do you
Like
know
all
anybody's
dads.
dad?
Yeah,
who's
good point. Good point.
They
So I bring him.
used to be though. They used to
But
be
I
so
brought him a
good.
Our
tablet.
sons are gonna be like, I hate my dad because he's always talking about technology
He's talking about fucking Windows XP.
while he's
But
TikToking in
I
the
brought
back.
I brought my dad a tablet, and he's like, I can't fucking read anything on this. So I made it bigger for him. And my dad all day plays online poker, but he does it on through like a Facebook plugin.
Yeah.
So now he's sitting at his fucking chair in his old folks' home, and I got him set up with this tablet playing. So I said, okay, Dad, I'm gonna go because I had to meet my my brother and sister for sushi. And usually my dad always walks to the car and we chat, and he's like, okay, no, I got 2 4s. And that guy's gonna call. Oh, but I've got more. Okay, I'm like, all right, Dad, I'm just gonna go. I know my way to the car, dude. I've been here before. Wait, no. Oh shit! Now I got 2
So you gotta
kings.
wait for him.
So I had to wait for him, and then he's like, okay, well, let me give you a hug goodbye, and then he goes back to his chair to play. So I'm like, I finally gave my dad something he fucking wants.
was it Zynga?
I got my
No,
dad.
the Zynga one was too complicated.
Oh.
We found
I
someone.
don't like the UI of the
and
Ziggy games.
it's
It's
too much.
crowded.
Too much. Yeah, too much comes up in it. This one that he got is very nice. It runs in portrait mode. It looked perfect.
Oh,
for
that's
him.
awesome.
Yeah, and so he liked that one. But when's the last time you gave your dad or mom or any older member of your family something that they were like, "Holy shit, I really like this"? This is the first time in a long time I've given my
For
dad
my
something that I
dad,
like.
my dad's birthday is in January, or I think it might have been for Father's Day. It was Father's Day, so June of this year. I decided for the first ever time I was going to buy something from the App Store, and I bought a game that I had played at Staples all the time before I quit, and it was Alto's Odyssey for $5,
Oh,
and
that
he
one.
still
Yeah,
plays
yeah.
it to this day.
Wow.
It's a fantastically simple game. You know, you just tap and the surfboard thing does the thing going down the hill. Don't want to hit rocks and other hazards. It's fun.
To put it into comparison,
Good music too.
the last thing I bought my father that he used on a regular basis till it broke was when my wife and I were still dating. I believe 21 years ago or 22 years ago, I bought my dad a snowblower that he used all the time. That was the last thing that I can recall
My dad
buying
needs
my
one.
dad that he was like, this is awesome. And now, 8,000 years later, I give him a tablet and he's like, I really like this.
How much? I got my dad a tablet too. How much is a snowblower though? That's got to be like.
When I
It depends where you buy it. If you
When
buy
I-
it at Walmart, you get a couple hundred, right?
Well, this
they're
was 21
shit.
years ago. I bought him a nice, like 2.5 horsepower
John
one.
Deere.
No, it wasn't John Deere. It was Mastercraft.
nice.
But no, I think I spent 21 years ago. I spent about $800 on it, Yeah, it's fucking been fantastic ever since.
My dad needs it because he cannot shovel. Like he cannot, or he'll have a heart attack and die.
That's the same reason I bought it for my dad.
Okay.
And but you know what? Like you can buy them. Make sure to do your research on them because there's some shit ones and there's some good ones. And even if you have to buy it on installments, that's what I did with my dad when I bought it originally. Because I didn't want my fucking dad to die shoveling. And dude, it
Mine
makes
too. That's how
all
my
the
grandfather
difference.
died.
I'm sure the old age home appreciates it.
No, you know what my dad does?
They can't take him if he's dead.
Because he's an idiot.
I meant the snowblower.
He goes up. I don't know how this podcast came about my dad, but my dad has an amazing, because he's a very charming man. I will say that about my dad. Wonderfully charming man. He somehow finds women either his age or a bit older than him that hire him to clean the leaves, to take care of their houses, to shovel the driveways.
Active.
I don't know where he finds these women because some of them are millionaires and they're in like fucking they live in gated communities.
Does he have any siblings?
Well, my two, but they're in fucking Finch.
Does he go for coffee at Tim Hortons?
He does, and I think because he's so charming, women see it, and then they all start passing his name around and shit. I'm pretty sure that my dad is like a Lothario. I'm around all these older women.
He's a bachelor.
Fucking them, and then he's shoveling their driveways.
That's a fun thing to imagine.
But it's so fucked. Because and I look at him like, Dad, you're like 74 years old. Like, why are you still this like fucking young bachelor guy? And my dad will say like, just like
not?
me. Nothing makes my dad blush, but he said some of the things that have been said to him by women in this old folks home from women that are like 80 years old. He goes, dude, I've heard sailors not talk like this. And I'm like, that's fucked.
The clock is running out though.
But can you imagine some 80-year-old woman coming up to you and saying, I want to fucking like suck the skin right off your dick?
Yeah, remember?
Like that's madness.
Remember when that
is a PG podcast.
Remember when that shark from Shark Tank was on Dancing with the Stars, and they were talking about like her reaching down to the male dancer's like body and stuff like that, and patting him like that, and then people were like, "Oh, is that too crazy?" And they're like, "These old people are so horny."
And that's what it is. I think it's what it is, especially for women. As women get older, I think they get tired of younger men's bullshit, especially men's bullshit.
I think they just get hornier.
Yeah, and they just get horny, man. So, what's your top 10 Christmas songs or movies, Phil?
I have 8.
Okay.
I like how you're bitching at me to not come up with any.
You didn't even tell us a movie.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
After that whole story.
All right, Phil, you start.
I have 8 because I couldn't think of. Okay, no. I think you're gonna get mad at me.
Wait a minute. What's a gift that you bought your dad? The last thing that you really liked. I don't. Last thing you bought your mom.
I don't.
Last thing you bought your wife that you really liked. And you can't say marriage because that's not true.
I don't.
Women don't. Last thing you bought your wife that she really liked.
Me.
That's not real.
Women
don't care about that. You're the gift.
She can unwrap me every day.
Yeah, no, I said something she wants.
Yeah, it's probably as good as the Sam Raimi gift. Too.
That's the worst, man. When's the last time you said to your wife, like, I'm going to give you the best sex you've ever had? She's like, oh, great.
How do you approach gifts at birthdays or Christmas?
For wives, I don't. We've kind of, especially once kids show up, we were like, you know what? Especially with me, my son's birthday is the day before mine. So I'm like, we don't need to worry about my birthday anymore because it's
that's
stupid.
Nice.
But for
Christmas this year, we can't even get anything for anybody because nobody wants anything.
But a card is fine.
We're just like whenever you want something and it comes up and we have the money, go ahead.
Yeah, get it.
I can't
for
wait.
me, yeah, we don't. I bought my wife a Christmas gift because it's something she saw she wanted. There's nowhere around here to get it. I was going down to Brampton, and when I was coming back, the only place to get it was Mississauga, so I got a Mississauga. Same for Leslie. So Leslie loves Harry Potter. We got her a Pez collection of all the Harry Potter guys. And Dexter took it out of the bag and said, Leslie, this is what we got for you. And I'm like, dude, you're supposed to give it to her for Christmas. And Dexter's like, I ruined Christmas. And he was all sad and upset he ruined Christmas.
Isn't that something you want to leave in the package?
Yeah,
she to put it on display,
or
did she take it out?
No,
what is it again?
It's like the box is like a little castle of the Harry Potter thing, and it's like Dumbledore and the 3 kids as Pez dispensers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so it's a cute little thing. But no, we don't really bother now that kids are. Maybe when we get older and the kids are gone, there'll be something to it. But now it's just for birthdays. Yes, like I'll give her a card. Or if she's asked for something specific, but
I surprise her with small things. But when it comes to a big thing, she's just like, I'm just like just figure it out on the budget. And I'm the same way, like with tech or something. It's like she's like, well, what do you want? And it's like I just get myself like whenever it comes up like, oh, I want a hard drive. Oh, get a hard drive. iPad came up, and yeah,
exactly. Yep.
I am the opposite because I never got anybody like gifts because I never had any money. But now in my life,
wait till you're an adult and you don't have money ever.
In the first time in my life, I have money. So these past few years, and to be fair, I used to do it like before. But the thing is, I'm like you sort of, Phil, where it's like if I think of something, I'm getting it. I'm like getting it now.
Yep.
And like I remember the first thing was I got my dad a Blu-ray player because I'd saved up, and it was only $110. And at the time, you know, I have a job, no other responsibilities. So I got that and split it with my sister, and everybody got mad. My dad still uses that Blu-ray player today.
Nice.
And that
That's
was
the
like 10
ultimate
years
revenge.
ago.
As long as it's not HD DVD.
And then, and then another year, and I wanted HD DVD to win the format war because I thought that was better.
I was fine with Blu-ray.
But
it's all gone now.
I get so pissed when
Millennials aren't going to know what we're talking about.
I'm watching the Blu-rays now, and it fucking sucks. You can't skip through anything. When you turn on the Blu-ray, you have to watch like 3 different warnings. You try and go to menu, it's like action not available at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's like this
they
is why
that
the
with
home market
DVD.
does. Yeah.
DVD.
They did that. For
That's why streaming is the way to go.
Not really. I mean, in
for
terms
me,
of,
keeping everything in my Plex server, that's what I like.
Sure.
Very good 4K quality. Boom.
And then I didn't want to write my mom a Mother's Day card, so I bought her an iPod Nano or iPod Mini. That worked out. Everybody got mad at me for getting that. And then
why?
one year,
why would they get mad at you?
And then one year, and
because he got the best
you notice
gift.
there's almost like a pattern here of technology of like I give them something that I would want them to have, that I would want myself, but would be useful to them. And then another year,
so you're jealous the whole time.
Your own parents.
And I have
this is a really good iPod.
Here you
Mom.
go. Can I use it?
And I'm the youngest of 5. And then the next thing I get, I step it up. I get my mom an iPad, and I tell everybody afterwards. And my siblings.
See, I totally do that.
My 4 siblings get so pissed. Like, you didn't tell us. It makes us look bad.
Fucking right. You're fucking right. It does.
I'm like, then give us money. And then like 4 out of 5 of them
I show my sister pictures of look at Dad on his tablet. He fucking loves it. They're like, what did that cost? I'm like, $1,000.
Even my in-laws gave money, which they didn't have to do. Nice in-laws.
Well,
and then I got
did the series.
And then I got my dad the iPad later, same deal. And then I got my brother because I wanted him to have it.
Are your parents
Xbox Series
still
S.
married?
Yes.
Why can't they use each other's iPads?
Oh, you know, I heard this.
You can't share.
No,
my wife doesn't touch my iPad
because my dad isn't. My dad's like Phil. He doesn't like think about that kind of stuff. Like
women or
like
their
them.
feelings.
Yeah.
Fuck
then,
I'm raping you, bitch, with this fucking.
And then my mom does this thing, and I feel like that all moms do this, where it's like, oh well, I don't want you to give me a gift just to give me a gift, or they play that game where it's like, I want us to want it. I want us to go out and decide to get an iPad so that we can do it together, and it can be a together thing. It's like nobody fucking cares. Just get the thing.
It sounds like she just wants to spend time with you.
With my dad.
I love hearing, and I tell Karen and well, not Leslie because she had a terrible mother like mine. I love hearing other people share mom stories because I had a terrible mother. My mother really didn't want kids. She wanted them for like the status symbol of being a working mom with kids, but she really didn't like or want her kids. So I hear other people talking about these like mom stories, and I'm like, aw, I would have loved to have had that. But I don't get sad about it. But it makes me happy for the other people. And I was said to Karen because she's like, doesn't it make you upset that you never had that? And I'm like, no, it makes me happier for that person that they got to have that with their parents. Then I cry.
Jeez. I saw this funny meme, though, on the weekend, which made me laugh. It's like there are two...
This will be our most watched fucking video.
It will be.
Because people will be like, Rob's so funny, he's had a sad life.
Nothing to do with the movies or TV show. I read this
We're
meme.
talking about Christmas stuff, which is fun.
Christmas and the families.
Eventually, we'll talk about movie Christmas stuff.
28 minutes, you still haven't.
I saw this meme on the weekend that said there were two types of families. The families who got a Nintendo Wii and the families that are still together.
It's true.
And I remember because I had an Xbox 360 and I got a PlayStation 3 later, and I never got a Wii, but I would go over to my friend's divorced dad's place and we would play Wii.
I remember we got a Wii. For Karen and I got it because again we were just
and
married.
I got a
had
fucking
no kids,
Wii U,
and we it was a Wii. Yeah, Wii. I'm sorry, I'm fucking forgetting.
2006.
What a stupid name.
We bought it, and and then I think it was for my birthday or something. Karen got Force Unleashed when Force Unleashed came out, and
what was great was it had, the thing. Yeah, exactly, right?
The nunchucks.
But you had to fucking work for that shit. So Karen comes downstairs. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. Because I always wake up first. And I'm sitting there, dude, shirtless, drenched in fucking sweat, like, trying to meet this red cord. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, shut up. Don't talk to me. Feed the red cord. Dude, that was, I think, one of the best workouts I've ever had. So.
Aside from porn.
That's why Ring Fit Adventure is so sold out now. Same thing. You tie the nunchuck
it works you out, that Ring Fit Adventure, man. Yeah, we got it upstairs. It's pretty hardcore.
Gotta try it.
I remember when I got a Game Boy for Christmas. Ooh. Now that. I had that for years after that.
What kind of game? Like the original?
The original Game Boy.
Damn.
Wish I still had it.
You must have been the talk of the town in your school.
No.
I got a Game Boy Pocket.
Do you get the feeling that Phil was a bully?
At times, yes.
Really?
What a dick.
Are you serious?
I was a bully, and then there was times where
I don't feel bad anymore.
Yeah, neither do I. Fuck you.
No, there was times that I was the opposite as well. So I got my just
desserts.
Yeah, karma.
And then some.
Ha ha! Now I'm the bully.
Ding. Oh, man.
This is the worst episode we've ever done.
Or the best.
It's so mean.
You can't make fun of us because we make fun of ourselves. We should have been reviewing Krampus. I've never seen it. I like
Krampus. Oh, it's good. Krampus is fucking very good.
The variety show.
You know what?
Guy,
in all seriousness,
it holds the record for opening weekend of this exact time of this exact year.
You'd be surprised at how good. I think if you watch it, you'll be surprised at how good a movie it is. You don't expect it. You expect something like goofy, like Gremlins, or silly. It is not either of those.
It's mean-spirited.
Gremlins is another Christmas movie.
And I'm not surprised in any movie that contains Adam Scott because it could contain anything. He showed up in Hellraiser 4, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, he's in Hellraiser 4, and he's also in, Hot Tub Time Machine 2. He's in Krampus. He's in a couple of things where it's like, Piranha.
In the other podcast that I do, that I won't say the name of.
You don't want to get canceled.
Rape for Beginners. No. We talked about Krampus, and it's funny, we were all talking about the first time we saw Adam Scott. The first time I saw Adam Scott, he plays David Fisher's boyfriend, who's played by Michael C. Hall on the TV show 6 Feet Under. And he was so convincing as a gay boyfriend, I swore that he was a gay man. I thought he was a wonderfully convincing actor, and I still, to this day, whenever I see him, I think he's a great actor. He was good in that absolutely abysmal Nicole Kidman thing on Amazon Prime, Big Little Lies, that Reese Witherspoon garbage. Oh, yeah. He was the only good part of that show, and then
That's
I stopped.
on HBO. But...
HBO, I'm sorry. I think he's a fine actor, but...
He never stretches himself. Like, he does Friends with Kids is probably the stretchiest I've seen.
I think you'd be surprised if you watch him. If you just even...
In Hellraiser 4?
If you use some YouTube searches of David Fisher's boyfriend, Adam Scott, you'd be surprised at how good he plays.
I thought David Fisher's boyfriend was black because I saw the pilot.
But there's... in the show, they break up and get back together type of thing.
Is it a prequel to Dexter?
No. Speaking of the sequel to Dexter, has anybody been watching that?
My dad was watching bits of it yesterday, and then I'm like, oh, we'll watch it today. But then I'm like, I have plans for once in the week, which is this. The only thing that I do.
Is your dad expecting you to bring him home an iPad?
No, I already did that.
Oh.
Xbox.
Yeah, and the Xbox Series S was the last thing I got my brother.
Why did my son get one and not me?
The better son got me one.
And you know what I want to get my brother this year? I want to give him Rumors on Vinyl by Fleetwood Mac because he was talking about having it. But he's like,
that's a good point. You have any siblings?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a sister, right?
Yes.
Do you buy her anything?
And a brother.
Do you buy them anything?
No.
Yeah, me either. So you buy your brother and sister stuff too, eh?
I've never bought them gifts.
You're a big family, though. You guys have a big family.
Yeah, and I've never, it's astonishing because my mom buys all the Christmas gifts. My dad, I guess, budgets. Well, he doesn't budget. That's not accurate to say. But,
that's the same as you and me.
And my mom does it, and my mom would do it, too, on her, part-time salary. Because wives are, amazing at this stuff. It's one of my criticisms, actually, of 8-Bit Christmas, that the wife does not get her own plot line because we all know mothers are so instrumental during Christmas.
I don't know what you're talking about because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyways.
I've heard of it. And I know June Diane Rayfield, who's on a podcast I like to listen to called How Did This Get Made? She's in it.
June Diane Raphael.
Rayfield,
yep. Anyways, I didn't get them start getting people gifts until 10 years ago, and even then it was once every 2 years, once every and it was only until 1 or 2 Christmases ago, and it was hilarious because my brother Alex said I have one more gift after everybody opened their presents one year, but it's not for anybody. It's for except Chloe. Sorry, I didn't get any.
God.
Yeah, it's only for Chloe. I'm sorry, I didn't get anybody else anything. I'm like, oh, that's perfect because I got something for Nick and I didn't get anybody anything. And then Sam was unfortunately
There's
left
like
out.
one left.
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
One kid just looked over like Oliver Twist.
It's the middle child.
But I tell my brother Sam, who is a middle child, that I'm like, I want to get you Dreams by. No, I didn't even say I want to get it. Because I got him a record player for his birthday this year, the Victrola record player, so he could start a record collection.
I don't buy anything for my brothers.
Fuck them. They're these vinyls. I'm not sure if you've heard of this technology.
It's still recording. You can see at the bottom.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah. Anyway.
Top 8 Christmas
said
movies.
Oh,
Yeah,
let's go. All right,
Phil-
Phil interrupts.
His own list. What?
Okay, number 8. Stop looking at my screen.
Yeah, don't look at the
Thank you.
screen.
The
What you
Santa.
should do is put a picture of your dick, so it's always on the screen. So every time it's over,
Nobody
you're
wants
like,
to
you'll be
look
like
at it.
staring at your dick.
Next week.
That's what you do. Do it and see what happens.
I could just pull
we're
it
not
out and
gonna
put it
get
in
through
the
this.
Put it
direction.
right in front of the screen. Just clunk it on the table. And you know what? When you pull it out, be sure to go. The whole audio catches that.
Maybe he'll look more often because Twink.
Then you'll be like, look, dude,
I
look
thought
at my
twinks were
screen.
straight.
Stop staring at my dick.
I thought twinks were gay.
They are. Twinks are gay. You're thinking of ho-hos. See, that joke comes back around 2 hours later.
That's not even in the same video. People won't know.
Our diehard fans
That
like
one.
diehard, like Diane will.
Diane.
Who is Diane?
I don't
No
know.
one.
It's a name that he came up with.
Fictional name that I just.
Did you create like a fake account? To,
He
like,
did.
all
No.
our
I
videos?
bet you did.
I knew
And you know,
you-
it's you in a wig going, I love this podcast.
You know what's
On
hilarious?
TikTok.
The video of us right here reacting to Cyrano, did I tell you, got 8 likes, and I did not recognize any of the 8 people who
Well,
liked it.
you said it on Facebook. They liked it, or was it on
It was
TikTok,
on
I think?
Facebook streams. It was on my Film Gamer streams
Were
page.
there any
Liked it.
large-breasted women that I have to reach out to?
I actually didn't look at any one of them, but I'm sure 4 of them are spam.
Fuck.
But 4 of them are real.
The Santa Claus. What are your opinions?
I remember seeing it as a child. I liked the premise. I
like
don't
Santa-
remember much of it. I have it on VHS. I'll have to watch it again.
I like Santa being murdered. Also, that was the very
yeah.
first movie that I ever went to the theater with my brother to see.
How old's your brother now?
30. How old am I? 44. So
thought-
he's 33.
You're 44? I thought you were 42.
Don't fuck around
You're
like that
getting
because I've
fucking-
forgotten my
You're getting
age.
fucking older every
I
time.
forgot my age. I think for 8
Wait.
months I thought I was 43 years old, but I'm
To
44.
be fair, each episode we record is each year.
We age
So
a year.
I did not.
Next year
I
will be
feel
the
like
next
we're
episode.
on the
We're fine.
water planet from Interstellar every episode.
Come back next time. There's way more white in my beard.
Oh, by the way, that
Just a happy birthday for the year that passed.
my Spotify Wrapped, my most played song was from the Interstellar soundtrack of the docking station scene because I was trying to because I was playing it
It's
because
just
it was
something
the
docking.
Or was it from Batman? Dun. Or no, not Batman. Fuck. The other one.
Hey, how come Ben
Superman.
Affleck hasn't been in a Christopher Nolan movie?
Joker.
Because usually he prefers better actors.
Marvel,
No, it's a Christopher Nolan movie.
Spider-Man.
Oh,
Tenet?
Inception.
Injustice.
Dun.
Yeah.
Fucking big. All right, so Santa Claus.
Number 7, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh, fucking
The
hate
30
that.
I
minute
loved it
short.
because it promotes bullying, which is good.
Yeah, that like really like that is like the example you hold up of bullying. Like nobody gives a shit
It
about
doesn't
Rudolph.
promote it. It just
Yeah, it
says
does. They go
it's
back
there.
right to being made fun of.
Also,
What would happen if Rudolph
the
was
gay
like?
bigotry towards Herbie. That's another thing.
How come Santa never did
Herbie the
anything about
car?
the bullying?
No, Herbie the fucking elf, the dentist elf.
Phil,
I'm just like,
Have you watched this fucking
what-
show?
I
why
don't
are we
like
bringing
Herbie.
up Herbie the car? That's cool.
I
Is it
actually
Herbie
thought-
or Hermie?
No, it
It's
is Herbie,
Yeah.
because we had a guy at work who people would call Herbie. I didn't understand why, and then they're like,
He
he
had a
looks like the guy from
68 on his
Cartoon.
shirt.
He dressed as him. People called him Waldo as well.
I love fucking Yukon Jack, the fucking big guy that helps Herbie. It's like, hey boys, I'm here to help you out and get you out of Christmas.
What would happen if Rudolph said, "No, I don't. No, like I've been treated like shit. Santa, you haven't done anything for me, so
Rudolph
no."
has this weird attitude the
Also,
whole time.
I
anyway.
think Rudolph is secretly like, he likes being cucked and he likes being dominated. So he's like, oh yeah.
But I
God.
told you
Oh my
guys-
God, you guys will insult me if I'm at the front of the fucking sleigh. Oh yeah, fucking spit at me, fucking throw shit at me. Oh, tell me how useless I am.
So like, if he has a
That's
glowing,
what was coming
here's
out
the
of
thing though. If he has
Rudolph
a
the Red-Nosed
glowing
Reindeer.
red nose and it was like a stormy night, wouldn't that just like reflect back? It's why you don't have high beams when
That's
you're
why he
driving.
goes blind.
It's a kids movie.
Also,
you know what's also
it
inaccurate?
clearly shows that it's good to have cancer because he must have had cancer because of his big red nose.
Reindeer don't have red
I thought
noses.
that was alcoholism.
Yes. So he's an alcoholic and he's a cuck who loves other people to insult him, while Herbie is a gay little elf, and it promotes gayness. That's what's good.
You're
This is why
assuming
people don't like. This is why my generation doesn't give a shit about this movie anymore.
Herbie is a gay elf, and it's awesome.
It's also kind of boring.
It's just sentimental because it was always on. That's all.
Yeah, I know.
You say so. What's number 6, Phil?
A Christmas Story.
Okay, sure.
Oh yeah, that one's.
I knew that was going to be on there.
For some reason, I remember isn't there an attractive young woman in that?
I have to watch it again.
It's
been a while.
For some
Do
reason,
you have
remember
to?
that there's an attractive woman, and I cannot
Every
remember.
time I see Léa Seydoux in a movie now, I always say fragile, because that's what the father says in A Christmas Story after
the leg.
after
Or the box on the leg,
fragile. And the character Fragile is a character from Death Stranding played by Léa Seydoux. So every time I see her, I think of her character from Death Stranding and pronounce it like the father in A Christmas Story.
And the reason I think there
'Cause
was
it's
a
funny.
good-looking woman in it is I spent so many years as a young man masturbating, and I swear I've masturbated to a
You
Christmas
just
Story.
it was just
It's just
everywhere.
constant, yeah.
And that's what I mean. You can find something.
it was
look, a dumb
so-
commercial.
It was the room in Spider-Man
What?
with all the webbing.
Our audience.
That's what my room must have looked
Our
like.
audience needs to understand that it was such a chronic issue that it would just happen while the TV was going on. So it was just whatever happened to be on at the time. And
Also, I was
Christmas
one of those
Story
kids
was
that
just
like
on.
jacked off out of boredom. I think all boys do.
I think it's
he had a
because of-
cream for that.
I think it's because it was TBS and it was
That's the
on
problem.
cable.
I found the cream for it. I'm like, oh look, I can do this
It was
100 times
cable,
more often.
and it was 24
side
hours
table.
of a Christmas
And since
Story.
I was a latchkey kid, my mom was like, fine, just buy the pay-per-view.
I've
Get
heard
Rob
it.
out of my fucking face. I'm like, there's porno on pay-per-view.
So latchkey means
Trying to watch it
I've
through
heard
the
it,
lines.
and it's been explained to me like 10 times. It's like you hid in a room the entire time, like behind a latch of a key, because like you were never bothered or had
Or
no attention.
never looked after.
Yeah,
effectively.
yeah.
So you
So
were
you
allowed to
raised
do
on
whatever.
TV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
allowed to do whatever you want.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Jingle all the way.
I don't think that movie
it's
is
not
good.
very good.
I've heard that. Another movie I had on VHS I'm too young to remember really, but I love the premise of it. It's one of those bullshit movies that my generation on TikTok has tried to like reclaim as some masterpiece.
Yeah,
Like Jennifer's Body is another, where it's like this movie was shit when it came out, but people are nostalgic about it, so they're
there's a
pretending
reason
it's
to
good.
rediscover Jennifer's Body for Jennifer's Body.
I don't even think that she's like clearly
Is it a Christmas
nude.
movie?
in
It is. Yeah. All about Christmas.
Oh,
It sucks.
I wouldn't mind
It's a
decking her halls if
shit
you know what I'm saying.
movie.
It is.
It's
but I mean,
awful.
I can understand
It's
why
boring.
people would try to rediscover
It's
that
unfun.
movie.
Yeah, because
But
they
with,
saw it when they were 9, and every movie you see when you're
with,
9 is automatically good. But I saw it when I was 16.
Jingle
so
All the
it
Way.
sucked.
It's one of those movies where,
I love the premise.
but I love. Remember the movies where Arnold Schwarzenegger, like Kindergarten Cop.
I
and there was a
never
couple other ones
understood how come
where-
he didn't just beat to death everybody because he's Arnold
But remember,
Schwarzenegger.
there's movies where he tries to be like an everyman, and it never works because he's like, "Hello,
My name is Adam
Anakin
Gibson.
Skywalker. I am your dad. I will
am
get
your
you the
daddy."
Turbo Man."
yeah.
What?
You're just hitting
You're
the
Austrian.
audio.
That's fine.
You're Austrian.
That's what
accent.
happened. But that's what happened. Oh shit! Speaking of Austrian accents, somebody sent me a link to this porno of this actress. I can't remember her name now.
It's
But
always
she
back to
sounds like
porno.
Gal Gadot. So she's being fucked.
So
and
she
sounds
must
like
be-
Gal-
so
like,
she's in-
yes, I love it. I love when you fuck me. And she sounds like Borat or like Gal Gadot.
This is why we don't get many views.
And the whole time
'cause
I'm watching
you
it,
get
I'm like,
flagged over
I'm
and
going to
over
tell
again.
this to Phil and Will on the next fucking podcast.
So is it? So she's just Israeli or Kazakhstani?
I think it's just that I think she's saying everything phonetically, and I don't know if she's Israeli, but she's definitely not American or Canadian, but maybe Greek. She's a very gorgeous woman. I mean, obviously, but
You and I have
I
different
think
friends.
she's speaking phonetically, and it made me laugh because it sounded like Gal Gadot.
On second thought, no, we don't
What was your
have different friends because my friend sends me porn. I just ignore it.
Oh my God,
We
My
just don't
friends
have
send-
the same taste.
My friends send me porn, and it's funny. I've gotten to the age now where porno is not for masturbating anymore. It's for watching and giggling. So we'll send each other porn.
That's like an
stuff,
age that you get to.
Yep, and you're just like,
like meme porn?
Where you're
type
just
thing?
so
bean
bored.
porn,
meme
meme porn, yes,
Yeah.
bean porn
or meme
Oh
porn.
yeah, everybody references.
meme porn.
They're so
Take
mean
it,
in this
bitch.
one.
All right, I'm sorry. What's number 5 or 4
Number
or whatever
4,
number on?
Arthur Christmas.
Oh, that was one of those Anguanana movies that we almost
I don't think
saw.
I've ever seen that.
You should
it's really well reviewed. I've never watched it, but it's supposed to be.
Is
good.
it like the British character Arthur? Oh no, that stupid fucking rat Arthur.
No, it's a new.
Played by
Yes, it's
Charlie
that.
Bucket,
It's that Arthur. Yeah.
aka the Good Doctor.
Okay.
It's Arthur and the rabbit and.
I thought you meant that little.
What is
rat
it? What is
Arthur.
it? Buster or Buster the Rabbit?
Yeah, Buster Rabbit.
I don't know.
Buster Rhymes.
You brought it up.
Does he play Buster Rabbit?
But it's good. You should download it. I think your whole family would enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit!
It's supposed to be. Oh,
Oh,
Klaus.
I'll talk when I
Klaus
get to my list.
No, it's not.
What's next?
I didn't even think of that one. Elf.
I saw that. I was the first person in Kingston to see that movie.
Oh, I bet. I was there when it was being filmed.
I was 10. And I watched the first 45 minutes, exactly where we're at in the podcast now, of that movie when my nephew was over. We watched the first 45 and he got tired of it. It's an okay movie. I think it's the prettiest Zooey Deschanel has looked. I like her as
I agree. That'll get you going.
But and it's one of those, I was too
Pervert.
I love
I was
Zoe.
too young for that, but I recognized
It's
later.
cold outside.
What?
It's in the movie.
I cannot say that I
Baby,
was
it's not a
cold
great movie.
outside.
One thing I will say about Elf is
I enjoy it.
I hate actors like Adam Sandler, and
Will Ferrell.
I
didn't
hate Will
like-
Ferrell.
you know what
Yeah.
though, he kind of
He
was
commits
starting
in
to win
this
me,
movie
yeah,
because he knows how big
commits
of
to
it.
it.
He's kind of the only one who believes in the
Yeah.
material, and everybody else is kind of happy.
Because James Caan through that whole movie, he does not want to be there, dude. I remember that's the one thing I remember about that
That's
movie.
like James Caan in any movie.
Anything since The Godfather.
I mean anything at all. Even in Thief, he doesn't look
But
like he
it's
wants to be
fitting.
there.
It's fitting, but I mean, I
great.
remember that was one thing I remember about watching.
Cartoon versus real life
But Will Ferrell, yeah, dude, he 100% committed to that fucking role.
Which is saying something because all of his movies, if you think about it, are kind of terrible.
Yeah,
and
but
he turned down. He says he turned down Elf 2 because the script is bad. I'm like, oh yeah, you turned down Elf 2 because the script was bad.
But
Where
you
was
did
that?
the bad guys.
But or
the good
other
guys. The other guys, that's what it was.
Yeah,
other
I
guys.
did not like that movie. I know it has its fans.
I'd say
Downhill. He's done a lot of
One
bad.
movie of his that I did not expect it. I did not expect it to be as good as it was Stranger Than Fiction. He was actually pretty good in
Oh,
that.
that movie. So I played this fantasy box office game way back in 2006. That was like the first weekend that I played it. And I was like, I wasn't back at that time. I was thinking, okay, if a movie is good and it is reviewed well, then it can't help but be successful. So I bet on that movie that weekend with like play money.
And now you
And
learned.
me and my brother went and saw it. And then it made like $6 million. I'm like, what? Like, I thought good movies, and my brother really wanted to go see The Prestige, but I didn't. And then
Prestige
he got
is good.
so mad thinking he could convince me I didn't want to. And then we walk into The Prestige, and it's already 15 minutes in, and it's packed in Kingston. Like, and this is like Stranger Than Fiction came out like the first week of November, and The Prestige came out mid-October. So like after 3 weeks, it is just still packed.
Speaking of women that look good in movies, like Zooey Deschanel does in Elf, Scarlett Johansson, The Prestige, holy moly, dude, that's masturbation material for fucking years.
Scarlett Johansson gets prettier every year for me. Like
She's a, but
like,
you know what?
I'm
She's one
more
of those
driven-
women.
When she hit Sadie, holy shit.
But
Helen Mirren.
I will say this about Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot is a very classically beautiful woman. Like,
Yeah.
and same as Scarlett Johansson.
I like that-
Just a classically attractive woman. Not for me.
Like,
but
I would say that
I appreciate that
to
she
me,
was
she's
very
like,
not
what?
exactly
like Christina Hendricks. Just very classically beautiful.
I find. Well, I was thinking the part where she like wraps her leg around the rock in Red Notice when they're doing the dance. I'm like, oh, because it's funny because to me when she's like lording over a drowned Chris Pine and he wakes up and he sees her face and it's kind of like she's like the most beautiful woman in the world. That's kind of like, even if you're not a Gal Gadot fan, if you're like a heterosexual male, you're like, yeah, she's very pretty.
She
and
is.
it's funny where the secretary says
Then you
so,
see her
even.
leg and it's just straight.
But
and
she's
there's
very-
no-
she's
And you
very
see
long.
that she's got a 10-year-old boy's body. It's great.
Does she? Because she seems a bit...
Man, in Fast and Furious.
Oh, right, yeah, she's
You're
slender.
supposed like,
Oh,
dude.
yeah,
You see all
everybody
these
go-
fucking women walking around that are so hippie and gorgeous. Then you see Gal Gadot like, I will go over and hit on him. He will like me.
That's
And
the-
she's got the body of a
That's
10-year-old
the thing with
boy.
TV and movies is like you're seeing these women that it's being shaped by the camera pretty much because it's like a different vision. Like when you see them in real life, they'll be looking like a lot thinner, a lot bonier, and it's just like holy crap.
The
But
problem
Scarlett
with...
Johansson is
You know what
she's
You just made me realize something, though.
that Scarlett Johansson has some nice jugs.
No.
Filling?
The costume design, and this is my problem with porn. The costume design
Usually they have a lot of costumes in porno.
of
Oh,
the
if
Fast
you
and
watch
Furious
cosplay.
movies are terrible.
Oh fuck!
I was just thinking about
Every
it.
part of Fast and Furious is terrible.
Race
The-
wars.
I think that I think that the editing in Fast and Furious is really good. Some of the direction is very good. It's not so good now. F9 is probably the worst movie I've seen this year.
Spaceship.
But yeah,
I
I was
hate-
thinking
fuck,
about
I
it
hate
though
those
in
movies.
Furious 7 when
I'll never remember the difference between any of them.
the one where Paul Walker dies.
Oh, yes, that was a
Vin
good one.
Diesel is wearing a
Loved him dying.
is wearing a tuxedo
no.
and he has no neck.
I love and
But I was
it
thinking with the Gal
F9?
Gadot thing, if she were wearing a one piece, that scene would
Like one
work
piece
better. Yeah,
thing?
one piece swimsuit.
Maybe.
With the
just-
right design on it, it would have worked.
I guess because she's one of
Because
those women that I
she's slender.
understand. She's attractive, but I have no attraction to her. It's like when
But for Scarlett Johansson, for me, she's attractive in part because she's a good actress, where Gal Gadot does not
good
have
point.
that.
Yeah. Same as Charlize Theron. Charlize Theron's a very classically beautiful woman, but she's a very good actress.
But and to me, like especially watching reindeer games. Them,
Oh yeah, that's right. Come back to reindeer games.
Yeah. Which you'll see on the Joe Blow top 10 Xmas movies. Somehow, I didn't write the list, people.
I did.
But and she's topless in that movie as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
On my list to watch, Phil.
But she's a decent actress.
think
That
she's
is
very
nowhere to be found in Fast and Furious 9.
Thank fuck.
Number 2, Home Alone.
Homos alone.
Ho-
Talking
ho-
about
How's that not
pornos.
number 1, Phil?
It's not.
I'm
Man,
guessing
you
number
watch-
1 is Die Hard.
National Lampoon's
Okay,
Christmas Vacation.
that's my number 3.
Yeah,
But
you know what?
Home
Home
Alone,
Alone, though.
it's
Home
great.
Alone, it is, but I saw, and I'm sure it's been brought up before, and I'm just old, and it's the first time I'm seeing it. But Home Alone is like Christmas was inserted into it. It did not start as a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And Christmas was inserted
Yeah, that
into
was
it.
Chris Columbus.
Yeah, to give it kind of the arc it needs to by the end.
Yeah.
But when you think of it, how interesting would that have been not as a Christmas movie? Just as these guys are trying to rob his house, so he has to come up with different contraptions that are non-Christmas oriented to fucking kill these guys.
That would
They
be
would've.
Home Alone 3 or 4.
We don't talk
Which
about
don't
Home
you?
I was gonna say we don't
Alone.
talk about
I
this.
was young.
Has
Hey, you know
anybody-
who's in Home Alone 3?
Who?
Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, now I gotta watch Home Alone 3. But
She's like 13 in the
She
movie.
was the lead
I don't
character. She was the Macaulay Culkin
I was
character.
2 at the time. Hey, how come they
She's
didn't-
really good at
hey,
acting.
How come, with all their gender flipping, how come they haven't done a Home Alone movie where a girl is Home Alone?
That's,
I think because
too
girls are
creepy.
smarter than boys.
It'd be
And
like,
she would
just call the cops.
Because that's what
You
I
know
was
what
gonna
the
ask.
plot-
Has anybody seen the new one? Why
You
the
know what
fuck
the
does
plot
he
of
just
it?
does not use the phone to call his parents? God damn you, Phil. Oh, at least we caught it right when it happened.
Well, it's probably still recording. Still recording.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Yay!
Okay. The funny thing I heard about Home Alone, the newest one, is that it over-explains the premise. The crappy thing is that the kid is British. Again, I hate that.
Does he speak with an American accent or it's British? It's a British movie.
I think he's just British, and it's like the problem is that like it's the writers from Saturday Night Live, Mikey Day, guys who are like supposed to be funny, but somehow half-assed a movie when they.
I'm pretty sure that's been the premise of Saturday Night Live since 1975.
Yeah.
Supposed to be funny,
But
and
they
we
like
half-ass something.
over-explain so many like unnecessary elements, and it's basically like the kid is rich, and then the people who are the burglars are just like regular middle-income people. The guy Rob Delaney got like laid off, and the woman is like working a 9-to-5 job. Their toy, which is worth a lot of money, basically gets stolen from them by this kid. So they're trying to claim their like rightful property
Oh
or
my
something.
God.
And he's just withholding them. And that's like
This
yeah.
sounds terrible.
Yeah, the AV Club.
What's the matter with
review
you,
or
Phil?
something
I fell asleep.
refers to
We're
it
talking
as,
about Home Alone.
urban-
You said you like fucking
no,
Home
it's
Alone.
just like if I was watching that movie.
Oh.
Fantastic score on the original Home Alone, John Williams.
Yeah,
Great
true.
editing, good direction.
I will argue
Chris-
Macaulay Culkin does a good job in that movie, man. For a kid actor, he does a pretty good job.
He was always kind of like pretty well aware, as far as I've seen him,
I think so.
of his acting ability. How come he never turned that into as an adult? Do you think he just has too much money?
I think Home Alone,
He
especially
turned down-
Home Alone,
He turned down Big Bang Theory, eh?
I think Home Alone
Yeah.
turned him off of acting completely
He's like
because
the
of
toxic-
all of what came with it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Michael
especially
Jackson.
as a child star. Well, he's the
Michael
one that
Jackson.
says he came out
'Cause he did
relatively
Richie
unscathed by
Rich
Michael
later.
Jackson. He did, but he did The Good Son, and The Good Son, he's adequate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you think would that have been better if him and Elijah Wood switched roles and Elijah Wood was
No.
the creepy kid?
I
which
like-
we
I-
know Elijah Wood can be.
I
and
like-
Macaulay Culkin was the one.
I like
Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin as a creepy kid. I think he did it really well. And he really
They should
relished
flip
in it.
it again and then do like some kind of soft reboot of that.
I think
I love the ending
he
to
got
that
tired.
movie.
I think Macaulay Culkin, because he became huge after that movie. I think honestly he just got sick of it because now he talks a lot to the Red Line Media guys. And he shows
Pizza
up on their
Underground.
reviews. He seems like a really relatively normal guy now. He's a little weird looking, but a relatively normal guy. And I get the vibe that he just did not enjoy the spotlight that he got.
I heard him say, and it was pretty funny, that two things. Number one, to get rid of Donald Trump's cameo from number two, because CBC, of all people, cut it. And they said they cut it for commercial time, and
Yeah,
Donald
I
Trump
bet.
got upset. And there was a petition to cut out Donald Trump and digitally insert adult Macaulay Culkin, because Macaulay Culkin, which he was in favor of, and he said, "You want to feel old? I'm 40 now."
Well, I love the idea that they said they should do a reboot of Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin as
yeah.
the 40-year-old he is now, but nobody notices that he's 40 years old.
Mr. Price, what is your 4?
You
I'm not
didn't-
going to
you
bring
got
them
to
up.
number three.
I
You
want
didn't
a
even
whole
finish your
goddamn
number
episode
one.
to mine, like you had an whole
Sure.
episode a year.
Phil, what
you
was
guys,
your
that's
number?
that's up to you guys because you
Whole
guys just go
episode.
off.
Phil, what was your that
Number
was
one?
number yeah,
Yeah,
Christmas
number one was
Vacation.
a National Lampoon.
Yeah.
That movie is spectacularly
It's
good.
funny.
Yeah, I would
it has a
argue
really mean edge to it.
it does, and I think that's what makes John Hughes. John Hughes, his movies were like his teenager movies were wonderful, but he had a mean edge to him. It was when you had enough
It was funny 'cause
caffeine
he was
and
so
nicotine
wholesome.
into John Hughes. He could be mean,
Do you-
and it's
oh,
also
yeah,
because of
I've
Chevy
heard that.
Chase.
Yeah,
Chevy Chase
Chevy-
is a prick of a guy.
Yeah.
He makes Clark Griswold that mean
I
kind
never
of veneer
thought
that he has.
Clark Griswold was likable, but it's an exercise to me, and your character doesn't have to be likable for you to go with the movie.
I remember watching that movie. The only one part of that movie that I will say I never cared for and everybody else has loved. Why are you looking at me like you just had a stroke?
I'm just waiting.
Is Cousin Eddie. I don't care much for Cousin Eddie.
Yeah. Real life Randy Quaid.
So I like
pretty
this
much.
movie a lot more as an adult because it reminds me of like the hecticness of Chris. Hecticness? The
Hecticness.
hecticness? No, hectic,
The heckness.
hecticness of
Because we
Christmas.
don't swear on this podcast. The heckness.
The hellishness of Christmas and like having that anxiety and frustration when things don't go right or when you have to deal with all these things at once. You feel that from this movie and I love it.
Also, closing the podcast, I would masturbate
do mine.
nonstop to Beverly D'Angelo in the first vacation, especially when you see her nude in the shower in the European vacation.
Kevin
and then at this
Nealon
one,
asked Chevy Chase about that though.
She is a gorgeous woman. Even when you watch her in National Lampoon, she's an older woman. She shows up as an older woman in Pacific Heights, a movie with Michael Keaton and Matthew
Also
Modine
The
and
House
Melanie
Bunny.
Griffith. She's a woman who's aged wonderfully. God, she's a good looking woman.
Somebody said about Kevin Nealon when he was doing poker, I think, with Chevy Chase or something, and he said, "Isn't it weird that in Christmas Vacation that you're having that daydream about like so and so lingerie actress?" He's like, "But isn't Beverly D'Angelo hotter than her?" Kevin Nealon asks, and Chevy Chase is just like a like don't answer.
anything.
Yeah.
Chevy,
Ugh.
it sucks that Chevy Chase is such an asshole of a human being because his roles.
What's
were
his
pretty
problem?
fun.
Is it like just
like
white
Bruce
privilege
Willis.
turned up to 11?
Nope. I think
He's
Chevy
never-
Chase's problem is he was given too much credit that he did not deserve on Saturday Night Live, and he's believed it ever since. Same thing with fucking Bill Murray. He believed the hype about himself, and he's believed it ever since Saturday Night
And he
Live.
And
expects
rich
that
white
from
man.
other people,
That's
and when
right.
he doesn't get it, he
Just like-
goes on a
Yeah,
hump.
that's
Like,
not
he's like,
messing. All right, Phil, close the
Everything.
podcast.
Wait, I didn't do
No.
my top 10.
we'll do one
I'll
each.
speed through.
We'll do
No,
one.
you get your own top 10.
yeah,
on the
we'll
next
do
one.
one each episode
Because then
Oh, okay.
it gets
That'll
us
work.
to Christmas.
because you guys
We
will
get a
talk
whole
about whatever
episode to
goes
your
on,
top
so it's
10.
fine.
Okay, yeah.
And I like that. You get a whole episode to your top 10, then
Yeah.
I'll get a whole episode to my 4.
That'll
Yeah.
work.
And then
Then I can just talk about porno
what's on
for
the
the whole
docket
rest of the
for
episode.
next
Christmas
week, Phil?
porn.
Christmas porn. Candy caners.
Next week is Christmas porn.
Give them the
and,
old Santa down the chimney.
If I can remember, what's the dog movie?
I believe that's called The Dog, A Boy and His Dog. It stars Don Johnson talking to his dog.
Channing Tatum's movie called Dog?
Yeah, the
new-
Channing
no,
Tatum
the
movie.
new Western.
Power of the Dog.
Power of the Dog.
Oh,
that's
yeah, I
it.
saw that.
What's
Don't
the other
spoil
one?
it.
I'm trying to go off the top of my head. What was the other?
We're gonna watch The Power of the
Lost in
Dog
Space.
and
You
The
guys
Boy
are
and His
actually
Dog.
gonna watch it this time because I
Big
watched
Bang
it.
Theory.
If
8-bit Christmas.
we can
8-bit
get
Christmas.
in 4K, Ron's Gone Wrong. That'll be. I want to see it. It
I'll
looks
watch
really
it.
good.
It's actually well reviewed.
I meant to say
30
something, but then I had to burp.
And then Hawkeye,
Oh,
and then whatever we put in the podcast.
we're getting we're
Wheel of
way too
Time,
much
episode 7.
Karen's been watching that. She's been loving it.
I
Karen's
thought
been
about.
watching
I
Wheel of Time.
actually
Yeah.
thought about picking it up, even though it's bad and hate watching it.
Yeah, Karen's been watching. She's been enjoying it.
I need to put in a series review for this website.
We'll close out the show.
Filmgamer.com, filmgamer.ca, filmgamer.net, watchingcomplain.com, and Robb's podcast.
Porno
So
sluts.
what's your real podcast?
We don't have a website though, but
should
you
get
can
one.
look for us on Spotify. We're called Three Amazing People and Rob.
There you go.
And I see why.
And my podcast.
I'm the most amazing one.
And my podcast, Shirtless with
Joe.
Timbits.
Shirtless Timbit Slut Phil.com.
That's going to be our
Slut.
thumbnail. It's going to be our thumbnail.
And soon I'll have my OnlyFans where you can see Timbits on my feet.
You don't.
You
need to-
crush Timbits.
And then
That's
I drink
what you
them.
should
you know
be
what I
doing.
realized?
We'll fucking pour vegetable oil on your feet, and then you step on Timbits.
Nothing has had like a greater flame out this year than OnlyFans, because that was like everything during
But
the pan. I
wasn't
haven't
it
heard
funny?
anybody
It's
like
still being
mention it.
used.
Remember
I
how
know.
OnlyFans was like, no, we want to be a respectable platform.
Oh, fuck
and
you.
then 85% of their fucking income would have disappeared. They're like,
They
no,
deserve it.
okay.
They screwed themselves over because they started to do a policy change.
Yep.
And then all of the people that were on
Because
OnlyFans
their investors
were
didn't like the
"F
porn
you."
aspect of it.
Bullshit. And
Yeah.
you know what investors like? Money.
And they
so
backed
as soon
out.
as they said they were going to change that.
But
oh, no,
the
no.
problem was they couldn't expand their audience because it's like, well, I'm not going to use OnlyFans if it shows up on my credit card. And
In
They
all
blame credit
because
cards
I had a
and then
friend
just
who
like,
did
fuck that.
OnlyFans, and I was kind of like I thought it was going to be one of those signing bonus things where if you sign up for it, then they get like $1 to like
If I
Twitch
could
streams,
get-
and it wasn't like that.
If I could get $100 a day for doing Timbit feats,
I
pictures,
absolutely do it.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
in a heartbeat.
Well, you
My-
can.
my
so
problem-
if anyone
you
out
can,
there,
Phil, do it.
My
Do it.
problem with
I would
OnlyFans
do it.
is
I just
think
need
there
someone
is-
to back it first.
I think
Said
there
it's
is
pimp.
legitimate. There is legitimate content on OnlyFans.
Sure.
The problem is for every one legitimate, like someone that may be reading a book or teaching a secondary language or something like that, there's 99 girls that are forcing fucking dildos down their
There's-
throats or stepping on fucking Timbits.
but there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't. But that's why I'm saying that's
what
where I
people
think
wanna see,
OnlyFans
though.
got this bad reputation because the majority outweighed the small minority that were using it for a purpose like that.
The funny thing to me is that like it seemed like it had a bad reputation, and then as soon as the credited investors came out and said we're going to shut this aspect down, it made me like want to defend the rest of it. I'm like, this is the bad reputation that they're a company that's
You
willing
should
to
be
turn
allowed
on
yep,
their own
to
users.
do. Yeah, you should be allowed to do whatever you want. That's what free speech is all about, man. And if someone wants to pay you to do
Legally,
that, awesome.
sure.
But as long as you're not hurting anybody, and as long as you're not hurting yourself, unless you want to, that's up to you.
Yep.
You can do whatever you fucking want. Me, and as an absolute pervert, and you know this about me, I'm a huge pervert. I would never pay for OnlyFans.
I have.
I can't.
Oh, really?
That's not true. I would never pay in a sexual capacity for
I have a
OnlyFans.
friend that did some. I won't say who, because she
You don't
she's
wanna
not-
Surprise me.
No, she doesn't do it anymore. But she did.
My friend doesn't do it anymore.
She did
We have
porn.
the same friend.
Oh,
Could be. Could be.
Does her name be? What does the first letter of her last name start with?
deep throat.
You're putting me on the spot. Jeez.
Can you remember?
That's how well a friend she is, eh? You don't even know her
so-
last name.
Oh my god.
Remember, her last name is Johansson. Starts Scarlett.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson on OnlyFans. If only.
Fuck, can you? Now that I'd fucking pay for.
Let's make a
She doesn't
website
need
called
the
If
thing.
Only, and we'll get like high. Britney Spears
You know what?
seems
It'll
like
be a
she's up
picture of
for
your
it.
feet just above the Timbits being, if only Phil would step on these Timbits.
What an arc from this episode where we were talking about our
We're going
fathers
so
to
over.
this,
That's fine.
to fathers to who the fathers pay.
They don't watch. No one watches. It's fine.
But no,
if we ever get popular and there's like 100, let's say 100
I
people.
feel like we're jinxing it. At
Let's
this
say 100 people are watching us normally, and those people are like talking, going, "Did you see episode 3?
We call it, we'll get the lost episodes. These are the ones that you'll only find on OnlyFans. After we get popular, we'll put them on OnlyFans. You can only watch them if you pay us
I'm
10
gonna
bucks a
finish-
Do
month.
you know that they did Netflix Weekly back in the day?
I'm gonna finish.
Dexter will be there to tell them.
I'm gonna finish editing the Halloween episode for us, put it on my page, and then we'll see like how the audience can like
Two
grow.
people.
And then you know what's gonna happen. We're just gonna publish it online. That's what's.
And then we're going to publish me finishing and see how many.
It is what it is. We
Hits
have fun.
that gets.
Who cares?
All right, who's going to close the episode? Or do we already say?
Yeah, you closed it.
Oh, that's right. All right, bye,
It
everybody.
stopped recording like 5 hours. Oh yeah, we're doing this again.
I am. I don't
is a
fucking care what you do.